Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to Lady Khadija radiallahu anha. May God be pleased with her online college. This is the chapter of Parametric Equations, Year 2 A-Level Pure Maths. We're looking at an example today where we have to find the intersection with a line. The parametric equations are going to have sine and cos involved in them. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Let's take a look at today's equations. The x equation is x is equal to cos t plus sine t. The y equation looks a bit more complicated. Y equals t minus pi over 6 squared and the conditions for t are t has to be between minus pi over 2 and 4 pi over 3. And the question is that find the point where the curve intersects the line y equals pi squared. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. We begin with the biggest clue here is that the form of the equation has got y in there. So it's probably a good idea to then take a look at the equation for y in the parametric equation. So we've got y equals bracket t minus pi over 6 squared. So for it to intersect, then that means they cross over. That means that we can use simultaneous equations. So let's try that. Let's take a copy of this equation. And let's do the substitution. So the y can be swapped for pi squared. So the pi squared can come here. Just gonna put y squared, just gonna put the pi squared back for later on. So we've got a new equation now. Pi squared is equal to t minus pi over 6 squared. Let's square root both sides. So if we square root both sides, we end up with, on the left-hand side, you'd think pi, just pi, but remember that square roots have a positive and a negative answer. So it's plus or minus pi. And then on the other side, we don't have to worry so much about the plus or minus here. We can just get rid of the square. It's only when you have a single number you want to worry about the plus or minus. So then rearrange. We can't rearrange if we've got a plus or minus here very easily, but you just got to get used to it. We can split it into two equations, but let's just keep it there. So we can bring the minus pi over 6 across. Remember, pi is not an unknown, it's a constant. It's something we know. So we can bring the minus pi over 6 across, and that'll become a plus. So we've got two possible answers for t. We've got plus pi over 6. So that would become 5. That would become 7 pi over 6. And then the second answer for t would be minus pi plus pi over 6. So that would be minus 5 pi over 6. If you're not sure how I got that, you can just type it into your calculator, including the pi. Your calculator can handle that. Type in plus pi over 6, and then type in minus pi plus pi over 6. You should end up with 7 pi over 6 and minus 5 pi over 6. Take a look at the two answers, take a look at the range we were given, and just see which one fits, which one doesn't fit. It looks like the 7 pi over 6 is fine. That fits in the range. The minus 5 pi over 6 is just a bit too minusy, so we can cross that one out. So we're just left with 7 pi over 6 for the value of t. And we want to get the coordinates of the intersection with that line. So we've already got the y coordinate. The y coordinate is pi squared. We need to find the x coordinate, which is easy now that we've found what t is. So we just want to substitute the t into the x equation. So t is 7 pi over 6, so we can just substitute that straight in. Let your calculator do the hard work, so you can just type in exactly what you see into your calculator. So the t can be replaced with 7 pi over 6. And so just type into your calculator cos 7 pi over 6 plus sine 7 pi over 6. And that'll give you your x coordinate, which should work out to be minus, and then a fraction, 1 plus root 3 over 2. So your final answer is your x coordinate and your y coordinate are there. Let's grab them and put them in brackets. So here's your x coordinate for the intersection. Here's your y coordinate. And we'll just finish it off by putting brackets and a comma in between. And that is it. Okay, let's just see if we can replay that just to bring out the main points. So you're starting with two parametric equations, one for x and one for y. You're also given the equation of the line y equals pi squared. So here, straight away, you want to try and combine two of the equations. Easiest two to combine are the y equals pi squared and the y equals t minus pi over 6 squared. So the y can be substituted for the pi squared, this y here, so you're left with pi squared equals t minus pi over 6 squared. Doing a bit of rearranging, you can solve it for t, and now you can put that t into the x equation, and then that'll give you your x coordinate, and you already know your y coordinate from the question itself. Join me for more next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Peace be with you and the mercy and blessings of God.